Unemployed and Afraid acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this episode on and of the land where you, the listener, are tuning in from. We would like to pay our respects to elders past, present, and extend our respect to any First Nations, Aboriginal, and Torres Strait Islander people joining us today, acknowledging that this always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Welcome to Unemployed and Afraid, a podcast that explores the glorious mess of building your own business with the people doing it. I'm your host and fellow business builder, Kim Curtin. Thank you for being here. Let's get into some good, honest, small business chat. It is good to be in your ears, listener. Hello, how are you? How are things going in your business building endeavors? I hope you're being kind to yourself. And if it's been a bit tough lately, being especially kind to yourself. And if you join me on the reg, you may have noticed a touch of radio silence from me this last week or so. I got struck down with the gnarliest flu cold thing and was laid out in bed for way too long with the worst voice for podcasting. So I know you'll forgive me for not showing up. And as painful as it was to be knocked down unwell when I'm so focused on my business building goals and working hard, hashtag solopreneur life meant nothing, move forward while I was out, it actually turned out to be a blessing. The time where I couldn't think and couldn't do meant my only choice was to show myself some kindness and some compassion, something that doesn't come very naturally to me and something we can easily forget to do and not even realize it until we stop. It took the pressure off a little. I realized that pushing hard and forcing my way through actions probably won't be the thing that gets me the success I'm seeking, which, as you probably already know, is to make this podcast and this Unemployed and Afraid resource commercially viable so that I can keep supporting you and showing up, as well as building some other small business ventures that I can't wait to share with you at the right time, but rather easily working in the direction I want to go, trusting where I'm at and staying present with the experience is really where it's at, just showing up for myself, showing up for you, and enjoying working through one challenge at a time without trying to solve every single step at once. Anyway, I hope sharing that is helpful to you in some way. Perhaps you can relate. Perhaps you'd like me to shut up about my rubbish cold and get into today's chat, which is absolutely incredible, might I say so. My guest today is Bec Connolly, and she is founder of Botanicals by Luxe, which is a skincare brand you will fall in love with if you haven't already. Together, we talk about being drawn into business through a desire to marry a passion with a structure that allows for more family time, transitioning from a service-based business with a glass ceiling to a product-based business and learning all things e-comm, pushing through the knockbacks from manufacturers in an early stage and finding a way forward, getting started wherever you are. And I'm talking starting with one product, selling in the DMs, just hitting up everybody you know, just doing whatever you can to push forward, which I am so here for. Why it's important to really take a moment to celebrate the milestones and how easily we let them slip by in small business. As a side note, I'm celebrating 50,000 downloads of this fabulous podcast as of a couple of weeks ago. So thank you for showing up for me in that way. And I really do hope that you're enjoying it. Reinvesting in your business and finding the courage to spend money to make money. This is a big one. And how showing you and who you are in your marketing supports the development of your brand love, as does genuinely loving your customers back. If you're in need for some relatable business building inspo, you, my friend, are in the right place. Let's get into it. I'm here with Bec Connolly, skin therapist of over 17 years, skin nerd, and founder of Botanicals by Luxe. Botanicals by Luxe is a pretty amazing, small batch, ethical, results-driven, professional skincare brand that's Australian-made and owned and proud to be 100% natural and vegan-friendly. No nasties, artificial fragrances, or colours. A small business based in Geelong, Victoria, who stays heavily involved in the local community, supporting the Barwon Health Foundation, Liptember, and other causes and charities. This incredible business has amassed a following and community that makes you feel like you're part of something special, not to mention something that works, with Bec steering the ship and sharing the adventures of running a small business with honesty and openness, which is my way of saying go and follow them on Instagram, as it's a joyful corner of the internet. A business that started as a way to bottle Bec's knowledge and be the ultimate side hustle that grew into a 7-figure full-time hustle. We love that and can't wait to hear all about the adventure. Bec, welcome to Unemployed and Afraid.
Gosh, what an intro, Kim. Thank you. Hi, and thanks for having me.
Oh, it's easy to write an intro for you. Like I said, I enjoy your corner of the internet a lot and your beautiful products, and it's a great business you've built.
Thank you. Thank you. Very kind.
No worries. Let's start off with a fun one. I would love to know how your best friend would describe you.
Do you know, it's actually one of the things I've been working on is to see myself the way that my friends see me. So my best friend would describe me as a few different sides to me. There's the mum side, there's the business side, there's the R&B gangster side, which I just touched about earlier. And yeah, there's a few different sides to me, but I guess caring and passionate will probably be the main one.
Yeah, amazing. I think when Say My Name or anything like that, like No Diggity, when that comes on, like she gets real.
It's over. It's absolutely R&B Friday today. So
Indeed. We won't put any backing music on just yet because, yeah, as we were talking about before, I'll get waylaid and start doing some sort of crazy dance move. But let's stay with before Botanicals by Luxe was a real living, breathing, thriving business. Who were you?
yeah, I grew up in Warrnambool. All of my family is still down there, so down Great Ocean Road. And when I finished high school, I knew I wanted to do skin and work in the beauty field, but I wasn't really sure how to do it. And there wasn't that many opportunities that I wanted to do down in Warrnambool. So I made the move and moved up to Vaughan and did a traineeship there at a day spa for 4 years. I was getting paid, I think it was like $12 an hour. It was wild and it was a real grind. It was really hard, but I absolutely loved it. I loved learning on the job as well because I got those people skills, the time management skills that you just can't learn from a book. So I really enjoyed that. Then, yeah, moved into Geelong, continued working in skin, and yet all 17 years now, which makes me feel very old when I say that, but I love it. I love everything skin, beauty, all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, basically I became a mum. I've got 2 little boys that are Ollie and Jack. They are 6 and 8. And just before I became a mum, I was like, I just want to do something for ourselves. And I want to try and stay at home with the kids if I can. We had a really tough time getting pregnant and had a few miscarriages and things like that. And I was like, I just want to stay home with these kids. It's been such a bloody journey. I just want to be at home, but also still working in the field that I love and still living out my dream as a skin therapist and things like that. So that's when I decided to, take the plunge and have a crack.
I love that. There's always so many different reasons how we end up in this space where we're even considering doing something for ourselves and what that thing could be. What was it that sparked that for you in terms of making it a product? Why did that become the path to go down?
I think it was because I was doing some treatments from home, like facials and spray tans and things like that. And it was honestly just, I was booked out 3 months in advance because I'd been doing it for so long. I had a really good relationship with so many different clients, which was wonderful. But it was honestly taking me away from my family when I was seeing face-to-face clients. So I was like, I'd always wanted to have my own brand, but it was always in the too hard basket, really. And I thought if I can create my own brand and bottle that, knowledge, expertise, passion that I have, then I can pull back on the face-to-face treatments and run an e-commerce business, which obviously still takes time and does take you away from the family a little bit and that kind of thing, but you can work on your own schedule. So one of the reasons that I thought the e-comm way would suit the family. It has.
Yeah, it's such an interesting time, isn't it, to go from a service-based offering to a product-based offering and the triggers that sometimes get us there. Because, at the end of the day, we only have enough hours. We have to find those ways to build wealth, to build income, to build a business in a way that doesn't always require that literal time that between 9 and 5, you're doing this many and that ceiling that comes with that. Was there anything about that early stage where you're going, okay, I want to make a product and so that's going to require me to do this step, this step, this step, and I'd love to hear about all of those steps. Was there anything just even before you went down that first one that scared you about going down this route?
Absolutely. Oh my God, I was so scared. I'm such an overthinker. And I was thinking the worst case scenarios, even when we launched the first product, which we can get into in a minute, I remember saying to Mum, it's not going to sell. Like, you're going to get this for Christmas and birthdays forever. And it sold out in 12 hours. There was absolutely a lot of fear. I definitely got knocked back a lot as well. So manufacturers Like a couple of them called me a mum with a hobby, and that just no one would take me seriously because I was a mum with a hobby. And I wanted to obviously start small because I didn't want to take a loan or anything like that. I wanted to just start within my means and grow it from there. So it was really hard getting knocked back time and time again. But the way that I am just added fire to my belly and just made me keep going.
That's such a challenging thing to hear from a manufacturer. Would I be getting this right? And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but so would you go to a manufacturer with this is the kind of product I want to make, and with your extensive knowledge, these are the kinds of things I want to have in it now. Can you be my hands to get me from what I know I want to product? And it was at that point when you were asking them to be your hands that they said, no, we're not interested in support. My God.
So I've done cosmetic chemistry, so I know what needs to go into products to make it do what I want it to do on the skin. But I can't physically make things. So now I work with a cosmetic scientist and we formulate it together. But yes, at the start, it was like, I want to make a hyaluronic serum. I want Kakadu plum in there. I want this in there. I want it to feel like this. I want it to look like this. And yeah, it was very hard to get that ball rolling at the start.
And so how did you go from there to getting your product done? What was the game changer to make it all real?
Yeah, so I remember the phone call. I finally found a small batch manufacturer here in Australia because I wanted to keep it all really Australian. And yeah, I was just like, will you give me a go? Will you just help me out? And he was like, yes, I will. Let's do a small batch. Let's do 200 units of this product. So you have to go back and forth with lots of different samples, and the smell would be bad, and then the feeling would be too runny, and there'd be like 20 or 30 different samples to get a product. And then you're sending it out to a testing panel. It goes in for stability testing. There's so many different paths that it has to take to just get to the shelf. Yeah, so that can take around a year sometimes for product development. Some products are a bit quicker and some are longer. I've been working on a sunscreen for 2.5 years now, so I cannot wait for that to come to fruition. But yeah, it does take a long time. But yeah, I remember when that man gave me a chance, and I still work with him today. And obviously we do a lot bigger batches than 200, but just to get started he just had a bit of faith in me, which was really nice.
That is nice. So it's amazing when those people come along. It does take a little bit of resilience to keep going and to find those people, I imagine, as it does with financial things at that stage, paying someone to help you get there. What was that experience like for you? How did you manage that?
Yeah, so I saved, as I said, I didn't want to take a loan or anything. I'm like the world's most safest person. My accountant is often, oh my God. That's Jane. She'll listen to this when I go, well, hi, Jane. She's amazing. But I'm very safe and very cautious. So I saved up some money. And yeah, obviously I was a stay-at-home mom as well. So I had to be very careful too. I didn't want to outlay too much. And that's why I wanted to just start with the 200 serums. They sold out in 12 hours. And then I just kept putting that money back into the business and paying for the supermarket bill at the same time. That's why I created it. I wanted to just pay for the supermarket bills, take a little bit of pressure off and see what happened. And yeah, it's definitely grown. I remember when we first started, I'd maybe get 8 or 10 orders a day and I'd walk them around on the tram with the kids to the post office. And now we fill up Australian post vans every day. So it's pretty cool to look back on.
Wow, that must be an incredible feeling. With that process, so going through it and getting it started and doing all this in preparation before baby comes along, how did you go with the branding aspect of everything? I always find this really interesting because we could approach business in two ways. I'm a huge brand nerd. I love visuals. I love creating brands, what they stand for, what they mean, what their voice is, all that sort of stuff. And then when it comes to administration or organization or systems, processes, anything practical, I'm like, okay, how somebody's going to help now. But I'm interested in then the other side, you've got that manufacturing focus, you've got that product focus. How did you then approach the process of becoming a brand?
Yeah, so I built up a bit of hype on Instagram. I reckon I had maybe 500 followers, but they were all very loyal followers, and they followed me for a while. So I built up hype and it continued to grow, and people were just sharing, and I wasn't paying anyone or anything to share. And it just started to grow. Before I knew it, there was sort of 5,000, and then it grew quite quickly, to be honest, which, yeah, blew me away. And it was just the power of word of mouth. And especially here in Geelong, there's a really big focus on supporting not only women in business, but small business. And we just seem to back each other, which has been amazing to be a part of this community down here. But in terms of any kind of brand, what would be the word? Like, like, a business model kind of thing. A strategy is the word I'm looking for. I had nothing, like no idea. I literally got a graphic designer to design the logo, and there was no strategy whatsoever. I didn't even have a website when I launched. I was selling in the DMs for 4 months. People were like sending me screenshots of their payment, then I'd send them a screenshot of their tracking. Like, it was just, I can't even believe that's even true. But it is. So there was no strategy whatsoever and no business model whatsoever. It was just see how it goes. And yeah, now there's a strategy and a model in place, but yeah, there definitely wasn't at the start. I built it quite organically, which I think has really worked in my favor because, yeah, there wasn't any ad spend or anything. There was nothing. There was just me with my passion and with people wanting to support me and trusting me with their skin, which was pretty cool.
I love to hear things like that. It's just like selling in the DMs. And we see these end goal brands, these huge brands that, are known in the household. And you look at their Instagram pages and big figures and everything is big. And it just makes it feel so unattainable to get started, just to be able to go. And I think you said that your eldest son was 8, if I got that right in my memory. So this is 8 or 9 years ago. You're starting to think about this, and in that span of time, which is not very long.
We already had Ollie. So it was, and Jack is 6. So I reckon it was, the brand's 5 now. So it's, not that long ago, really. 5.
No. And to go from, screenshotting, tracking into this huge business, like it really is. And I say it all the time, but start where you are and just do whatever you have to do. You don't have to overinvest and make it like the world's biggest thing, just even to get started. It's perfectly okay to do that.
I think it's really important to just get started, have a crack, go, do your best.
How has it gone then, going from, you mentioned one product, so was it your hyaluronic serum? Yes. That product, and then getting things going and getting things started, welcoming baby, to where we are now, a lot more products than that. What was the tipping point like when you started to develop new products and start to go into a bigger space? Take me through that journey.
Yeah, I knew that I wanted to grow the brand into a full brand, but obviously I wanted to start with one. And then there was just so much demand straight away. So I was working on masks and cleansers straight away, but I wanted to still keep it simple. There is 19 products in the range now, but there's still only 2 cleansers, 2 moisturizers. I've kept it really simple, but still with a strategy for every skin. That makes sense. So I just knew that I wanted to keep growing it, but I wanted to do it still one by one. So I haven't released 2 products at once. I've released just one at a time, which also worked in a branding way too, because people were always wanting more and excited for the next product. And I also wanted to do each one properly as well and really be able to put full focus on it rather than having my fingers in too many pies at once.
And then how do you go from that process of, let me develop this side hustle, let me keep this, and then into, all right, I'm going to have to go all in here. This is a full-time hustle. This is happening. What was that experience like?
Yeah, so I knew that I wanted to only do this. When I decide to do something, I do it and I'm very focused and I work really bloody hard to get it done and to make it what I need it and want it to be. So I didn't want to go back to work, and there was never a thought of going back to work, to be honest. I have to earn money, obviously, but I knew that I would be doing it for myself. So yeah, there was just a time I set my goal to make $1 million in 5 years, and it happened, I think, 13 months. And I was like, okay, righto, we better put some kind of strategy in place so that these can continue to scale and continue to grow. And I've just been riding the wave for the last 5 years and I'm really enjoying it. And I do have lots of goals in place because I'm a very goal-driven person, but I'm also learning more now to enjoy the journey rather than just keep on moving those goalposts out.
Yeah, absolutely. And we often set those big goals and then sometimes we get them and then or don't even realize that it's happened. And it's just, okay, here's another goal. Here's something else to work towards. It just keeps going.
Something that I'm really focusing on probably for the last 6 months to a year, because I literally don't even remember when I made that first $1 million, which is insane because that is so much money. So that is crazy. And I don't even remember. So now I am, when I reach a goal or when a milestone happens, I will really celebrate. Like we turned 5 in April and I had a little party. I was like, I'm going to have our first event. We have a mindful morning just for 30 women that have been a part of the business journey down at the beach and yoga and breakfast and that kind of stuff. And now I remember that, and that exciting time and really special. So yeah, learning to celebrate those moments, I think for small business especially, is very important because it's such a grind and it's such a hustle. And I think rather than just keep moving those goals further out, we need to enjoy it as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree any more with that. How have you managed? Here we talk about money and just how to get some in, put some out, keep investing back in the business. I feel like it's such an important topic for us to talk about because there's so much to learn on that journey, so much trial and error. What have you learned about business finances along the way that you wish you knew in the beginning?
Yeah, and Jane, my accountant, she has just held my hand. She's put so many different structures in place. Well, the business is not my forte. It's not something like money and accounting figures is not my thing. So yeah, having structure in place, having a really good accountant in your corner from the beginning. I started on my own, so I didn't have Jane then. And yeah, having someone at the start would have been ideal because you could get those structures in place. Obviously, you start as a sole trader and then you go into a company and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't know how to do that. So having someone, in your corner, really important. But also something that I probably wish I did know is that you have to spend money to make money. I could have started out bigger. I could have started earlier, but it's all good in hindsight, isn't it? But I think it's just important to realize sometimes you do need to outlay that money and the costs and the education and the having good people around you. Those things do cost money and that's okay. And to get those pillars in place to be able to hopefully make some money back.
I'm at the very beginning of that journey of finally taking something that's how do I just do all of this myself to make it happen to, okay, how do I get people on and invest to help so that I can do more of what I'm really great at and also do the things that I've had on the to-do list for 45,000 years that I can't seem to get to. And it's such a scary thing to even know who to invest when money's super tight, to even know how much to lay out, who to do it with, who to trust. Like it's such a trust exercise to do that. But I think it sends a bit of a message to the universe as well. Like, I'm taking this seriously. I'm taking me seriously. I'm taking my business seriously. I think even if you stuff up a little bit along the way, hopefully, the good outweighs the bad in that. Has that been your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. And oh gosh, it's a minefield. If you start to go down to find someone to help you do ads and things like that. There is so many different places. I found what's worked for me is to really just trust recommendations from other business friends and podcasts like this. And, trust those recommendations because otherwise you're just Googling and who knows, you have no idea. Or you can look at someone's Instagram page and it looks amazing, but it's not always the way. So, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. So I think trusting recommendations from friends, colleagues, other people in the industry, and listening to business podcasts. I love business podcasts and I learn so much. Also, putting that out to the universe. I'm such a big believer in putting things out to the universe. And I think, just backing yourself as well and just, taking it seriously. Then imposter syndrome is so huge. So taking it seriously and just having a bit of faith as well that it will come back. We're all going to muck up. We're all going to put money in the wrong places sometimes. And it's just a learning curve. It's just all little hurdles and you just got to keep riding that wave.
How do you keep yourself focused through that? Are there any methods you use? I try to put my goals, I'll put them up on the wall so I can see them. So even when I'm in the weeds, I'm like, okay, let's just look at that. Or sometimes I'll put it on socials and just make it so public that I can't hide away from myself. How do you manage your goal setting and where you are to keep yourself focused and moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's definitely hard to stay focused all the time. So I find for me doing things like meditation, going down to the beach, really just keeping my mind as good as it can be, talking to friends and telling your friends your goals and your plans and your ambitions so that they can keep you accountable too. People, as I said, people in your corner that you can trust with your big, crazy, wild goals and with things that you want to do and putting things out on social so that people see it and it makes you keep on better do that now. I think it's important. I've got a quote on my desk that I read every day and it says, trust your hard work. It's unlocking doors that you can't see yet. And that really resonates with me. I've had it on my desk for 5 years, but I read it every day. And I really believe it, because there's some days where you're in the grind and what is going on? Why can't I crack into this? Or why isn't this working? Or why do I feel like everything's going well? Why do I feel a bit not as motivated today, a bit flat? And I think, just reminding yourself that it's all part of the journey and just keep on going.
It's such a wonderful quote too. I think actually our mutual connection, Jenna, who put us in touch, you sparked a memory. She said something in our chat on this podcast, you just never know who's watching and where it might lead to. And so you just have to keep going and just putting things out there, even when you're doubting yourself and not seeing what's happening. And there's something else that you reminded me of when you were talking about putting things out there on socials. And I have to say, your social content is a really good time, because it's not just the brand, it's you as well. And might I say, your fabulous suits, which are so wicked. There's always this beautiful bright, as a lady who spends a lot of time in t-shirts, activewear, white, black, navy, grey, I feel quite inspired by watching that. So how do you balance product, your deep expertise, your knowledge, and thinking about skin with things like socials and making people fall in love with you and your brand, managing PR, managing marketing, all of those things? How do you find your balance in the day?
There's definitely not a lot of balance. Something I am working on. I'm trying to find balance and put boundaries in place. With the socials, I definitely do find it tricky sometimes, because you don't want to just be putting product out there all the time and the selling kind of thing all the time. So I try and stick to 4 different content pillars. So I've got your products, the education, the me, so whether that be the fashion or whether that be what podcast I'm listening to or what playlist I'm listening to, just my kind of stuff. And then also local love too. So if I'm out for dinner or if I'm just to shout out locals. And I find sticking to those content pillars has really helped me, because I can be like, okay, like you didn't share anything about yourself yesterday, so let's put up what you're wearing today. And just things like that to try and break it up. I love watching other brands that have a bit of behind the scenes stuff as well. And I think it's just real. Like I shared that I was having a early 2000s metal rock day the other day. So I was like packing orders to Kiss Chasey and all crazy different music. And the next day it's Post Malone, the next day it's Mariah Carey. I think people just resonate to the realness behind the brand as well. It doesn't always have to be perfect. It can just be a bit of fun as well. So finding that balance is definitely, a work in progress. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I feel that it's particularly when it comes to self-marketing and like using your own channels, it's like it's a process, isn't it? Some weeks if we're really engaged, it feels really easy and fun. And then some weeks are like, oh my God, like I have no personality, anything.
Desire to create the content sometimes. And that's okay. I used to think, oh my God, I have to do stories every single day. I have to show my face every day. Actually don't. And your engagement actually goes up if you have a day off. So it's okay to have a day of stories or a day of socials. And I do find though that when I am on there talking, sales will absolutely go up because I'm on there. And if I have a couple of days off, my engagement will go up on socials, but my sales will flatline, but they'll just stay normal. So finding that balance, absolutely.
Such a good point. Another thing I want to talk about, I guess, with your industry, like every industry, there are competitors, there are new people coming into market and different types of product, and some that may not have maybe your area of knowledge, or there must be a lot that you see and you go, this is really annoying for whatever reason. Here's another person I have to compete against, or another product. And also, what is this product? I could know to this. We feel that in every industry, whether you're a hairdresser, a podcaster, anything that you're doing, there's always competitors out there. How do you manage when you see a new competitor come on the market with keeping your own focus, and how does it make you feel?
Yeah, I actually don't really care. I used to be like, oh, what's that person doing? I've just learned it doesn't matter. I feel like there is so much skin around. There's plenty.
Amen.
And it's like with podcasts, there's plenty of me and there's plenty of people to listen, and you've just got to find your people. And I think sometimes when I've had a couple of copycats in the past, that grinds my gears like that. I can't let that go. And that's because when you work so hard and then someone tries to just literally copy your exact business, like the logo and the products and everything. And that's not good, obviously. I think you've got to remember that you're always in front of those people and they're behind you. So you need to remember that. But competitors don't really worry me. I don't get concerned about it. It's a very saturated industry. Every second celebrity with a skincare range at the moment, you can't compete with that kind of thing. Like, they have endless money to be able to put it everywhere and make it all absolutely perfect from the get-go. And that's not what I'm striving to be. I'm just striving to help people and help their skin and make people feel better about themselves. And as long as I stay in my lane and keep doing what I'm doing, I know I'm doing a good job. So I'm just going to keep on keeping on.
I love that. I think that's an excellent takeaway. What's challenging you at the moment with your brand? What's keeping you up at night?
Oh, gosh, there's the balance. I get around over 200 DMs a day. It's a lot. It's a lot. I have put in place a skin quiz on the website so that not everyone has to send a message to find out what they need. I'm absolutely here to answer people's questions, but I was just getting a lot, and I was finding 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, I'm writing, you probably need to add the pink mask in, make sure you drink some water. And it was just getting too much. There's a skin quiz on the website now, which has really helped alleviate a lot of that. And don't get me wrong, I love chatting in the DMs to my customers and clients and things like that. But it was just a lot. So I thought, how can I work on that? Other than that, it's probably, just setting those boundaries in place, not replying after sort of 5, 6 o'clock at night, and not being on my phone all the time. I'm trying really hard, but it's not that easy. The only other thing would be the sunscreen. That sunscreen will be the death of me. I'm trying really hard. We released a sunscreen and it was great, but I just wanted to make it a little bit better. That was probably in the first year I reached that. It was amazing. I've still just been working on that back and forth, had the perfect formulation and sent it off to SPF testing, which is a really rigorous testing panel. And instead of SPF 15, it came back at SPF 9. So then you have to start the whole thing again. So it's another 6, 12 months. It's just a lot of time, but that's okay. We'll get there and it will be worth it. And I tell you what, the party for that sunscreen, Kim, is going to be, you'll have to come down because it's going to be a big one.
I would love that. I have to say, it's the one thing that I've never really found something that I love. Like it's either like full of chemicals and things like that, which I absolutely, I'm sure a lot of people listening are the same, but try to keep off skin, stay as natural as possible, or it's incredibly thick zinc that just gives that funny sheen to your skin that just doesn't feel good. It feels really uncomfortable. And I think the market is absolutely hanging for something that is quality.
It's coming. We're very close. But I keep saying, I get asked, this is probably my most frequently asked question, where's the sunscreen? So I keep saying, hopefully by summer, but it won't be this year. It won't be this year. It'll be hopefully next year, but I just keep pushing and keep working on it. I don't want to rush it. I could release one tomorrow that would be not perfect. So it's just not what I'm about.
I definitely will be present for that party because might I say there are some incredible businesses coming out of Geelong. Like when my partner and I love to drop in a little personal chat on the pod, we're considering moving this most recent time. We're wanderers. We like to live in different places and get energy from new places and meet new people. And we were deciding, all right, we're in Tassie. Where are we going to go? Geelong's pretty high on the list there because I've spoken to the wonderful Sophie from Gentle Habits. This is Incense. And of course, Jenna, Love Ludi. There's Your Good Self. I just feel like I'm seeing there's Lyra Potter, who I just love to follow on the socials, and so many incredible humans.
There is some absolutely wonderful businesses coming out of Geelong and just great people doing really cool things. It's a cool place to be. I feel like it's only getting bigger and stronger as well, it's really exciting. It's a good place. So definitely pop it on your list.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can see that community has been a really big part of that. What would you say to someone who's running a business, particularly one that could be worldwide online, exactly as yours is? We can access you online, but how would we and should we be bringing that back to a community level no matter where we live?
I think it's really important to connect with your local business community because you can learn so much from other people. I've been doing this for 5 years. I can talk about skin and business all day, but there's still so much that I can learn and that people can learn from me too. So I think it's really cool to be able to, it's very lonely in small business. So having people that you can talk to, bounce ideas around and just have that outsider perspective as well on your business because you know everything about your business. You see everything how you see it. But it's really nice to talk to people and for them to put in their 2 cents, and you can take it or leave it. But I think it's really important to just continue to align yourself with people that you want to be aligned with, that have the same kind of vision, the same kind of this way that they work. I've got friends in real estate, entertainment, like so many different kind of industries, but it can all come back to the same kind of thing. It's that customer focus. It's making people happy. And yeah, I think it doesn't matter what industry people are in. If they've got your same kind of values and, like the same kind of stuff as you, I think it's really important to just have a chat and connect. I think especially during COVID, obviously we couldn't get out there and talk to people. But I think now that we can, it's really important to get back out there and to have that conversation. As Jenna said, you never know who's watching, who's listening, and you just don't know what doors can be unlocked. So yeah, I think it's important.
So agree. Where do you want to see Botanicals by Luxe grow to?
I want to be a household name. I want to be in everyone's bathrooms. We're working on the international expansion of the brand at the moment. Definitely want to be in more places abroad as well. And I know that it will become more of a household name. I feel like it's become that here, which is really cool. It blows my mind that random people buy my products every day. Like it's not just my friends or not just, people that I know. So I definitely, I'm just going to keep working and keep just getting into people's bathrooms. We have a really high return customer rate. So a normal return customer rate, like person that keeps coming back for your products, is 12%, and ours is 77%. So I know that once people try the products, they love it and they keep coming back. It's just getting in front of more eyes and just getting more people to trust me, because in America, no one knows who I am. So it's starting from scratch, which is, it's a challenge, but it's also really exciting, and I love a bit of a challenge.
Yeah. Oh, I cannot wait to watch it happen. That is very exciting. And you are sharing so much, and even just today with sharing your insights about building your business and supporting so many beautiful faces and supporting all that skin out there to be fabulous. In return, how can the listener and I support you to grow to where you want to be?
Yeah, I guess it's just if you need a new skincare, give it a crack. Give it a try. Send a message, have a follow, all of those kind of things. It's all about supporting small business, and it's something I'm really passionate about. Is putting your money into small business rather than giving it. It's not me, that's totally fine. But just when you support a small business, you actually do put food on someone's table. You help put a child through school, buy a footy jumper. It's things like that. That it's not just going to a big CEO somewhere that has no idea who you are. Like I literally pack every single order, and with so much gratitude. And yes, when there's 1,000 orders come in sometimes, it's wild, but there's so much gratitude. And I think when you support a small business, it really does make an impact.
Oh, I love that so much. And you're speaking my language. Small business is big business, no matter which way you look at it. And we are what will continue to grow our economy and give jobs to other people and put our families into a place where they feel supported as well. So I just love that. And I'll make sure to have the links to all of your socials in the show notes. Like I said, you have a very joyful corner of the internet and share a lot of really great things, and your products are absolutely beautiful. So thank you for spending time with me today, Bec. It's been my pleasure.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm really appreciative of it being lovely to connect.
One quick thing, if you're hearing this, you've listened all the way through. Hopefully that means you really like this podcast, because it's pretty generous to give up 40 odd minutes of your time for it. If that is the case, please leave the show a star rating and a review. It helps me reach so many more people who might also listen all the way through and get some benefit and some support out of it. Not to mention, it puts a real spring in my step to read them. Thank you for listening to Unemployed and Afraid, the podcast for small business builders with your host, me, Kim Curtin. If you love it, you can say thanks with a star rating and a review. And of course, join the community on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Find us at Unemployed and Afraid wherever you're hanging out, and I'll see you there.